Alright everyone, this is episode number 101 today for the Brazilian Grand Prix of Season 6. If you missed the previous episode number 100, I recommend you go and check that one out before seeing this one at Portugal as well. Because, spoiler, we are ever so slightly closing in on a fourth straight championship with 4 different teams. 8 points clear, second place Charles LECLERC, with Verstappen another 4 points back in third. But interestingly, we might have a bit of rain at the end of the sprint race as well, so that could definitely throw a spanner in the works. So we all have to change on to intermediates in the sprint race. R&D, no point looking at this. I mean, it's a regulation change coming up, so a flat line for everyone as well. So yeah, to Friday qualifying then, I don't want to say this, but Interlagos, not just on this game, but F1 2021 as well, just didn't feel nice. A nice track to drive, if that makes sense. Like, compared to previous years, like F1 2020, this car just, the track just feels like you're leaking time everywhere. You know, especially through the Senna S's. We saw how much curb we've lost time anyway, because we went wayward on that curb. As well, this also used to be a nice corner, and again, I feel like the AI traction wasn't, obviously OP traction out of a slow corner. I feel like that there was a little bit of that here on F1 2021 as well. Middle sector though, we are a bit 10th and a bit up on the previous best time. Again, those curbs do not feel nice. I'm hoping that the feeling the curbs have been revamped for F1 23. As well, but anyway, we're getting a healthy slipstream from both McLarens as well. That's going to help us up the hill. 10th and bit up on Schumacher, who's only P11. 2/10s up now on our previous best times. We climb up the hill as well, and again the traction out of the hill is again OP for the AI. Up to the line, what will this be? I didn't see there. I think that is 9th place. It is 9th place. 3/10 off Sainz. LECLERC, Verstappen down the order. That could be Curtin Verstappen's if we have a good race. So it could be me versus LECLERC Abu Dhabi. We'll have to wait and see about that. Felipe, his home race, and he's not done that well. He's probably going to lose. He's probably going to end up like last or something. So yeah, we'll see what we do from 9th and the win. It's time for the sprint.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri and Vettel, Tsunoda, Gasly, Phoenix and Lewis Hamilton, Russell, Drugovich, Alex Albon and Mick Schumacher, Ocon, Magnussen, Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi, Joe and Robert Schwartzman. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Thanks for more confirmation. It's rain icon at the end. Don't know if we're going to pit or not. We'll have to wait and see about that. We're going to reduce the fuel as well because we don't need that much. So 5 lights in for the Brazilian Grand Prix sprint race, and after a bit of a hold, away we go. A bit overcast. Hope that rain stays away as well, as we can try and find some positions, although it might help us if it comes out under a safety car or something, as we try and get the better of the Williams there, of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell there. At the front though, bad news for us. We wanted Sainz to sort of win this race, win this sprint, and win the race really, or if not, hold somebody up. But he's lost out to both Red Bulls at the start, so it's a Red Bull 1-2, Ferrari are only 3 and 4. We're looking to dive down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda and get up into the points, into P8. Russell follows me through there. Russell's having a go at me. We're going to squeeze Russell out here in the Aston Martin and move up to P8. Make that P7 down the inside of Gasly. Gasly, to be fair, keeps his foot in as we go side by side really to what is the final corner, but is the penultimate corner officially. Gasly dives down the inside, we keep it around the outside, a little bit on the grass there to try and give Gasly the room, but we have moved up. But Gasly, of course, that AlphaTauri is very strong in a straight line. But we switch back in a textbook, lovely little switch back at turn 1 through the first of the center S's, and we're up to back confirmation up to P7 now. As Russell there, and this one's involved with Russell. Did Russell catch me? No, Russell got napping, sort of distracted by Gasly and lost out to Tsunoda. So Russell's down in P10. So not having a great job for our countryman in the in the Aston Martin is Lando Norris. Is now getting ahead of Sebastian Vettel. We could do with Lando isn't out of the championship, but we could do him helping us out there, taking points off Red Bull. Really, as we now get Piastri, a little bit of contact there, as Piastri just sideswiped, but we are fortunately able to survive. Jump to lap 6, and the rain is here, but it's not. It's come too late. As well, that is the almost perfect amount of fuel. Just low fuel mode. Won't have any issues as we had in Mexico. We'll easy cross the line in P6, which will give us 3 points. But I was hoping that it's not gone. We needed help elsewhere. Really, the pace isn't there, I suspect. And LECLERC is the man who won the sprint. He gets a full 8 points. So it's not the end of the day with the points given for a sprint. So, but it's a good starting position for the race. As mentioned, Felipe drew back. So we'll see what we can do. Time for the race.
Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his 3rd championship here in 2012, and in 2016, Max Verstappen treated us all to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. 2 very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Yung Cao into one of 2 DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Norris, Sebastian Vettel, Phoenix, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Tsunoda and George Russell. Hamilton, Mick Schumacher, Kevin Magnussen and Albon. Latifi, Schwartzman, Esteban Ocon and Guan Yu Zhou. Stroll and Felipe Drugovich. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davison joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So here we are down on the grid in P6. Race strategy will be our favourite one stop from medium to softs. I think that's going to give us the tyre advantage at the end, especially those who decide to pit for our hard tyres in the second start of the sprint. So we're going to lower the fuel minute, but not too much, having PTSD to what happened in Mexico. So 5-minute lights to the Brazilian Grand Prix, and away we go. And for the 101st time in a row, it's a shocking start. Hopefully starts are better on F123. We've almost practically pushing Norris through the center S's. We get a warning by the FIA for that. I mean, it was going far too slowly as well. As Vettel's been pushed out. Can we get Vettel here? This is crucial for our race to make sure we don't get stuck behind the German. We're up to P5. That was crucial there. Vettel has a tendency to start slowing up people. As I say, he was forced up initially by Norris, and then we just made sure we got the better exit out of turn 3 up to turn 4. Thank you very much. And next up will be Oscar Piastri to get past the German, which Piastri is going to make light work. Vettel tried to come back at me, went too deep into turn 1, and that allowed Piastri to get the better line through the CLRSs, and he's now up to P5. Excuse me, and Vettel is just becoming the train driver here. Here comes Tsunoda with DRS down the inside, and Vettel has lost yet another position. Sadly, this is not the way we wanted Sebastian Vettel to get up. Excuse me, Piastri up to P6, not P5. We're in P5 looking to get P4, Lando Norris. A little bit too deep in there, unable to make that move. And really, we're unable to overtake Norris. And Norris has actually jumped Leclerc. Somehow, I think Norris has pulled an undercut strategy of dreams out of that, but out of the bag. Because we had DRS on Norris in that early stint. But he's jumped Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in the pit stops and is an effective P2. Verstappen has the lead with fastest lap. We will take fastest lap away from him now on the soft tyres. Where we're going to come out, it's going to be P6, because that is Oscar Piastri side by side, but Piastri is through. Can we get the Australian straight away though? We know that Williams is strong in the straight line, so we really can't be stuck behind it through the corners where it is weakest. As well, hopefully our former teammate from season 4 and season 5 will allow us to go around the outside. Indeed he does. We're up to P5 once again. Here's a bit of a replay as well. Make sure it's actually a pretty clean overtake. Oscar doesn't fight it too much. He knows that we've just got to follow us through really if he wants to get a chance of getting the Ferrari on the horrible hard tyres, as we're all over the back. Carlos Sainz through the middle sector, and we're just going to fed up getting stuck behind him and just dart down the inside and up to P4. Sainz wrong usual Ferrari bottle in terms of strategy there. Now lap 13, we're closing on Charles Leclerc. We're going to go for a dive bomb. Make sure we don't move. Oh, there's contact. There's contact between myself and Leclerc. And again, as he did not want to yield the position, and we're up onto the podium there. That was crucial to get past Leclerc, but he didn't want to give the position. Almost a bit like Schumacher against Villeneuve, Jerez 97 sort of move there on the side pod. Didn't work for Leclerc, and he has lost out as well. And Sainz was while that was happening, Sainz got distracted, went deep into the second centre edge, and that allowed Piastri past him as well. Unfortunately, couldn't catch Verstappen and Norris with these tyres, so it's P3 in the end with fastest lap. So we will lose points to Verstappen, which is worrying because we lost points in the sprint. Lando Norris wholeheartedly, that was a 300 IQ strategy by McLaren to get him up to second, because he was like fifth, and we would have overtaken him if it wasn't for that as well. Where obviously our teammate, oh dear, 19th. He did have a penalty, but obviously not great in terms of our constructors fight. So championship, Verstappen has the lead, but only by 1 point. It all goes down to this, that Leclerc is 8 points back going into the final race then at Abu Dhabi. Any one of us can win. Norris, after leading the championship at the start, has bottled it again and hasn't been able to rival either of us. I've taken on 2 Red Bulls before and won. That was on F1 2021 in the Mercedes. Can we do it again on Abu Dhabi? You'll have to wait. I'm hoping to get that episode out tomorrow at 4:30 as well. So yes, all that is left is, if you have enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, see plenty more episodes of F1 22 Driver Career Mode to see that final race, and also F1 23 Driver Career Mode video. It looks like that for some silly reason that EA are limiting their creators, so Driver Career Mode may be coming out earlier than expected on Tuesday, about 3 o'clock-ish, I should say. As well on that note, I don't know why they've decided to. I think they've got their days mixed up, personally speaking, because they've, that the embargo for videos for all the big creators is actually 4 p.m. on the Tuesday. The game would have already been out for 9 hours at that point. So again, another mess up by Codemaster, unless somebody's messed up the date and thought the 13th was a Monday or something. I don't know. I mean, that's if the game unlocks for us this year, because we all remember last year when the game decided it didn't want to unlock for us for 9 hours as well. So yes, F123 Driver Career Mode details, that all will be revealed. What's happening with that on Monday at 7 p.m. Unless the game unlocks early, in which case that video will come out early as well. So yes, all that is left. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe and new to the channel, see plenty more F1 content videos. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, enjoy your day, and goodbye.